Well, here comes some more breaking news for you from today that I just came across. Heads up.
Are you serious? Are you serious? This took place in Washington State in America at a hacker convention. Not teaching people how to be hackers, but teaching people how to not get hacked. What? Are you serious? Are you serious? What are they going to do, Pastor? Well, here you go. They're going to implement an RFID microchip into this guy's right hand. What? Are you serious? In America? And notice the guy that's going to do it, okay? He's wearing black latex gloves. I mean, it's really weird. This is in Washington State, right here in the United States of America. Now, he's talking to the guy, and he's telling him, hey, just take a deep breath. There might be a little bit of pain. You need to understand that whenever you Lamaze classes, that's really not to teach you how to breathe. It's teach you how to not deal with pain. So this guy's trying to explain all about, this isn't going to hurt. Let me just say something right now. The little bit of discomfort and pain that this guy's going to feel from this microchip being injected right into his right hand is nothing compared to the damnation that he may be receiving in his soul at this very moment. Now, I'm not saying that this is the mark of the beast, because we need an antichrist. We need a one world government that implements a new world order that implements the mark of the beast. So we need the beast to rise. We need a beast so that it is the mark of the beast. But what I'm telling you is, this is the technology, or this could be the technology that will be used to implement the mark of the beast. The Bible says in Revelation chapter 14, begin reading at verse 9, and the third angel followed them, saying in a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment will ascend up forever and ever, and they shall have no rest day or night, nor worship the beast, nor the image of the beast. And he hath power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to take and receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Don't do it, dude. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600, 60 and 6, or 6, 6, 6. The beast. It's coming. It's coming. I had somebody say to me, why did you write the book, Mark of the Beast? Because it's coming. And now, you're watching the beginning of the implementation of the mark of the beast. you serious? What? Are you serious? Don't take that mark into your right hand or your forehead. See, this microchip is a radio frequency identification device. With it, that little microchip that they just injected into that man's hand has the ability to store all your information, your health care records, what prescriptions you're on, your identification information, your social security number, your name, your birth date, your birth certificate. It will have your bank account. It will be a GPS. It will be a debit card. It will hold all of your information. That chip was developed by Lucent Technologies. Its headquarters is in the building I was in last week in New York City, 666 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York. That's where that chip was. Why in the world were they there? 666 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York. Are we getting close to the mark of the beast? How close are we till the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ to get the bride? Are you saved? People are already starting to take microchips voluntarily to help do these promotional videos, to start desensitizing the public. Are you saved? Time is running out. I'll be back. In Jesus' name. Send me a personal message if you want to be saved. We have 3 people.
Wow. You know, other than it looks like his hand is turning colors, I mean, a deeper, darker, where that was done, let me point out something else with a big heads up. Growing up around doctors and things like that, let me tell you something. That's a pressure point. And when you get a headache, I don't know if a lot of people remember that. When you get a headache, you're supposed to squeeze right there. Right there, you would squeeze hard to get rid of a headache, because it's like a pressure point right there. It's nerve endings that go straight up to your head. For the ones that give you a headache. The ones that give you a headache. I remember people told me to squeeze right there, right in between your thumb and your index finger, real hard, and that might relieve the pain of a headache. Heads up on this, especially right where they put it. Oh my goodness. Not good. Oh no. Not good. Looks like I'd be allergic to that. I don't think I could do it. Oh no. Not because of just the other reasons. I'm allergic to that. So they might have to put mine on a credit card. I can't do that. Oh no. Heads up! Just letting you know what's out there. Maybe I'll look around and see what else is out there too in a little bit. Okay. Have a good night. Here's another thing I'm adding to this video. Miss Milky Clown Channel 1. The other one was Pastor Paul Bagley. I took the music off in case there's some kind of copyright infringement. Hopefully you can see this. The utility says a worker patrolling on Tuesday morning found water 1 centimeter deep across a 350 square meter room on the first floor of the turbine building. Also on Tuesday morning, TEPCO workers found white smoke rising from a pump in a storeroom.
Rattled northeastern Japan. There's been no immediate reports of casualties or damage, and no tsunami warning has been issued at this stage. The quake struck with its epicenter off Japan's northern island of Hokkaido at a depth of 590 kilometers.
7.3 magnitude off northeastern.
And
Yesterday.
magnitude 9 quake devastated northeastern Japan.
A record heat wave in the United States has led a nuclear plant to shut down after the water used to cool down the turbine became too warm. The operator of the Millstone Power Station in the state of Connecticut says it shut down one of its 2 reactors on Monday evening. The utility says the temperature of seawater used to cool the turbine and other equipment rose beyond the safety limits of 23.8 degrees Celsius. It's the first time the reactor has shut down due to excessively warm water since the plant began operating in 1975.
Officials in Belgium have ordered a nuclear plant to be shut down. Operators believe they discovered cracks in a containment vessel in one of the reactors. Officials with the Federal Agency for Nuclear Control said the number 3 reactor at the Doel plant will remain offline until at least the end of the month. The plant is located about 20 kilometers north of Antwerp. The operators discovered what they believe to be cracks during a regular safety inspection. A Dutch firm built the reactor more than 40 years ago. It's the same type of reactor used in the U.S., Germany, and Spain. People in Belgium rely on nuclear power for more than half their electricity. But officials have decided to scrap all nuclear plants by 2025.
I think they're preparing for a major power outage, which would cause nuclear power plants to go into meltdown. If anyone hears of any other places that are distributing potassium iodine, let me know. This comes from Pennsylvania. The Department of Health will be handing out potassium iodine tablets at several locations on Thursday, according to a press release sent out on Monday. Potassium iodine, often referred to by its chemical formula Ki, can help protect thyroid tissue from cancer in the event of a radioactive release. Anyone who lives, works, or attends school within 10-mile radius of one of the state's 5 nuclear power plants, including Limerick Generating Station, could obtain 4 potassium iodine pills per adult in their household. There are smaller doses for children based on age. Anyone can take potassium iodine as long as they are not allergic to it. The pills are considered an emergency measure that would only be taken if people are directed to do so by the governor or other state health officials. Tablets can be picked up at the following locations in our area from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And it mentions Keystone Fire Company, 240 North Walnut Street, Boyertown, Pennsylvania. The Kimberton Fire Company, 61 Firehouse Lane, Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Tablets will also be available from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Pottstown Health Center at 364 King Street in Pottstown. Anyone who cannot pick up pills during these specific pickup times can obtain them at any time at county and municipal health departments or state health centers. You can view a map of a 10-mile radius center on Limerick Generating Station by clicking this link. So what does the governor of Pennsylvania know that's coming that they're covering up, and he decided to take the bull by the horns and issue potassium iodine tablets to the citizens, all citizens within 10 miles of a nuclear power plant? And actually this is false security because of the radiation bloom, which has been shown to happen in Japan. It can go for miles and miles and miles. Radiation does not equally distribute, it follows the air currents.
Nuclear event in USA on Tuesday, August 14th, 2012 at 1925 UTC, 7:25 p.m. at the Culvert Cliffs nuclear plant. State of Connecticut. Details. Hard to read. The water from around the pipe was doing something. Here it is. Oh. Oh, there it is. I read you all of these. So this is the summary. I read this the other day to you guys. Magnitude 7.7 quake hits northern Japan. Wow. Okay. Yes, Max. It's kind of warm in here. Mutated butterflies again. Just show this picture. Yes, Max. Go drink your Wawa. I'm gonna drink a soda. Japanese researcher. They remind me of Godzilla. I like that. There again about the earthworms, 10 times the size. So far, we don't know. Maybe they'll keep growing. I think there's going to be more news in a minute. Usually those reporters report only on, mainly on Japan. They're reporting on the United States now. Heads up. It's hot in here for it being so late at night. Can't open the windows. They bug sprayed out there. Yeah. Be alright. What I found was during an obscure part of the video, there was a few frames of what looked like molten fuel leaking out of a gap at the top of reactor number 1, and it was very similar to the footage I had obtained from Chernobyl when they had helicopters flying over to ascertain the damage. This is from Ports Line. Oh. Okay, whoa, there's pictures for you.
Just being jostled around. There was a few frames with what looked like molten fuel leaking out of a gap at the top of reactor number 1. And it was very similar to the footage I had obtained from Chernobyl when they had helicopters fly over to ascertain the damage. So what I found, it explained the confusion that was being published at the time, that they couldn't understand where these high levels of radioactivity were coming from near Unit 1. So I tried to relay this message to Japan by calling the United States Nuclear Regulatory Commission, who of course has no authority in that, and they have an emergency response center, but they did not want my data.
Of course not.
They did not want your data?
No. I said, look, I'm not just, I testify to you people all the time. I'm not just a person calling to suggest to put ice in the reactor like they did when, probably 50,000 phone calls. I'm calling to tell you some data that you ought to pass on to the Japanese because they're having some confusion as to where this radiation is coming from. They did not want it.
Do you, there are all kinds of theories out there, but it's been repeatedly suggested that the Fukushima accident looks a little funny too. Are you picking up any funny vibes as you look at that, as though anything to suggest that it was anything other than a naturally occurring disaster?
No, it definitely was naturally occurring. The earthquake possibly, and there was conjecture about this, I think by now the Japanese company TEPCO knows the answer. I think that one of the coolant pipes at the top of the reactor fractured during the earthquake, and that is what explains the glowing red molten fuel dripping from it that I claim to have seen on the video.
Look at that. See, I'll point
Move
up here
over,
too.
Blinky and Donatello. It looks like we'll be adding the pale grass blue butterfly to the list of animals made more adorably hideous by man's radioactive folly. Mutated versions of the insect have been consistently found among the neon green forests of Fukushima and are the strongest evidence of a long-term radiation problem in northern Japan. Now, apparently, this species happens to be very susceptible to radiation, which has rumpled their wings and dented their eyes. But other species have been found to be relatively unaffected. Silk moths, for instance, are like, "Nuke me, Daddy! Nuke me all day long! Ah, snap it to a Slim Jim." So it's unclear whether or not the remaining throngs of people who still insist on living in the area will be giving birth to rumpled-up, dented-eyed babies in the coming years. If it turns out that humans can withstand Fukushima's low-level radiation, then that's good news all around. Unless, of course, a Mothra-sized butterfly gets jealous and decides to even the playing field.
Well, an HK survey is showing now that the majority of Japanese people think the country should reduce its dependence on nuclear power as a source energy.
You think?
HK conducted the poll over the weekend and received responses from 1,046 people. The respondents were asked to choose from three options that the government has presented for the nation's reliance on nuclear energy. 0%, around 15%, or somewhere between 20 and 25% by the year 2030. Results show that 36% favored the zero option, 39% choosing the middle, and 15% did tick the highest option. Nuclear power had accounted for about 26% of Japan's energy supplies before last year's nuclear disaster. The government has been reviewing its energy policy and is seeking public input on the nation's dependence on nuclear power generation.
Wow. Alrighty then. We'll add this to tomorrow's heads up. You'll see this tomorrow. Live, this is One for the Record. I'm Diana, and today is August 16th, 2012. Thursday, the eve of Friday, and the coming of Nibiru. Wow. And here is your update for today. I did run a lot of videos attached to this report. I hope you enjoy them. A lot of information, a lot of good news, a lot of heads up. And I even show you the missing link to our humanity, our modern day humanity. So, it's my theory, but I think it's doable. And here we go. Let's first go into the 2012 official countdown. December 21st, 2012. 11:11 Greenwich Mean Time. We have 126 days, 18 hours, 23 minutes, and 28 seconds. Moving on, let's go to the Extinction Protocol 2012 and beyond. My computer's been on all night. I've been researching this, fell asleep with it on, now it's running real hot. Hopefully we can get through this alright. Colorado hit with first anthrax disease outbreak in 31 years. Heads up in Colorado. Show a picture of some cows. Kirkland, let's see, wait a minute here. It just jumped. Stand by. We have a volcano. Here we go. Coral Islands. Coral Islands, we do have a volcano. Ivan Grozny volcano erupts in Coral Islands. Heads up. Winter forecast. Big snowfall predicted for eastern U.S. cities already, so that's all the new news from them. Let's go into the watchers. It's probably not going to be a lot of news for today so far, but attached is a lot of news from late last night. So you're going to get it first as soon as I get this up. Probably before, if anything should happen to hit the mainstream, you're going to hear it first here, hopefully. See what we got going on. I'm surprised you're not talking about Nibiru. Okay. The Watchers. Watching the world. Here we go. Louisiana sinkhole fears a radioactivity and gas explosion as sinkhole getting bigger. And they forget to talk about how all the lines are going up. There's pipelines going all through the country. So heads up. Active volcanoes, let's see. Mutant butterflies, Fukushima disaster caused physiological and genetic damage to butterflies in Japan. It's not just butterflies, I'll let you know that. Alrighty then. Let's see what else is today. Highly radioactive water found on floor of number 4 reactor in Fukushima nuclear plant. Heads up. Sharp drop of temperature caused damaging hailstones about 7 centimeters in diameter. Russia. An Atlantic hurricane season to become more active from mid-August. Okay, so we went that far before. Let's go into E-Energy. E&E News. E&enews.com. Can't wait for Friday's show of Dr. Deagle. I want to hear what he has to say about this sinkhole thing. He'll tell you. He'll tell you just how it is. I can't wait to run that one. Okay, Japan. Here we go. Today. NHK special. Reactors could break like glass during accident. Neutrons change properties of steel. 10 times more deformed worms in Fukushima town. Some have 2 abdomens, legs with necrosis, damaged feelers. Also, Japan paper. Malformations in 10% of cotton worms from Fukushima town. Japan Times. Doctor warns suffering of Fukushima Daiichi workers could trigger accidents at plant. Many confused. They have almost zero work motivation. Wonder why. You have them covering their detector badges with lead. Can't imagine why. Plutonium releases from Fukushima plant highlighted in final sentence of butterfly mutation study. Alrighty then. Let's see if there's anything else going on. Oh, I'm sweating. God, I hope I don't have to run and put something. I got sweat beating down my face. Can't run the air conditioner, you won't hear me. Louisiana TV. Growth of the sinkhole was expected and could continue. And then yesterday, TV officials say Louisiana's sinkhole has grown now 476 feet by 640 feet. Alrighty then. That's your news for today. Woo, I'm sweating up a storm. I'll catch you on Friday. And on the flip side with some more real news. Take care and stay tuned. I might split up the videos. Alrighty then. I gotta go and edit these after this. Mash it all together.
Good evening and welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. I'm your host, Rob Dewan. Today's date is Wednesday, August 15th, 2012, and here's a little look at what we have coming up.
Tonight, the U.S. Army unveils 21st century robotic airships. The 7-story football-sized surveillance Zeppelin is an unmanned hybrid airship to be used for surveillance missions. Then, are eggs more dangerous than Al-Qaeda? A new so-called study challenges the health benefits of eggs. No yolk. Plus, the Arkansas police released the video of the handcuffed man who shot himself in the head. But wait, it's a reenactment video, and the police chief says it's easy to shoot yourself while being handcuffed. And finally, when you get police, what do you say and what do you do to protect your rights? Eddie Craig joins us in studio with sound advice on how to survive the system. All that and more up next on the Infowars Nightly News.
We'll listen to the beginning of this.
Well, it seems 1.4 billion bullets wasn't enough for the Department of Homeland Security. In fact, they're still buying more. So our top story, DHS classifies new ammo purchases following controversy. What do they mean by classifies? It means they're blacking things out. This is from Paul Joseph Watson. It came out today during the show, during the radio show earlier today. Despite the fact that documents are only supposed to be redacted if authorized by Congress or for national security reasons, a solicitation posted on FedBizOp's website yesterday concerning ammunition purchases made by DHS on behalf of Immigrations and Customs Enforcement officials, that's ICE, contains numerous blacked out sections, and we'll show you those in a second. The solicitation explains how the contract put out by the DHS to purchase the ammunition was not subject to full and complete competition, a process justified by what DHS claims was an unusual and compelling urgency to acquire the bullets, noting that there is a shortage of bullets which is threatening a situation which could cause substantial safety for the government should law enforcement officials not be adequately armed. There's the blacked out sections you can see right there. So, you know, it's all for our safety. This is all supposed to be above the board type stuff when they're buying these types of ammunitions. They just put in an order for 750 million rounds back in late March. There was 450 million rounds of hollow point .40 caliber. We've discussed other agencies buying ammunition and spreading it out all over the country. And now, it's not the Forest Service, it's not the FDA, it is the Social Security Administration has purchased 170 4,000 rounds of hollow point bullets, of course, for target practice, because that's what we use hollow points for, is for target practice. I guess in the government they do that. The Social Security Administration, oh, this, by the way, was on Drudge. Thank you, Drudge, once again, for putting out the real news. The Social Security Administration is set to purchase 174,000 rounds of hollow point bullets to be delivered to 41 locations across the country. A solicitation posted by the SSA on FedBizOp's website asks contractors to supply 174,000 rounds of 357 SIG, 125 grain bonded jacket hollow point pistol ammunition. The synopsis to the solicitation at the ammunition is to be shipped to 41 locations within 60 days of purchase. A separate spreadsheet lists those locations, which include the Social Security headquarters in Baltimore, as well as major cities across the country, including Los Angeles, Detroit, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Denver, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Seattle. Sounds like places that are all going to have riots when everything collapses, and that must be what the urgency is noted for in the previous Paul Joseph Watson article. So now we have these guys, over a billion, and I guess we could say 1.5 billion bullets now are being ordered. They're going to be delivered. And initially, there's another interesting point in this article. Despite initially asking the bullets to be delivered to the National Weather Service, NOAA claimed this was a clerical error and insisted the ammunition was for the Fisheries Office of Law Enforcement. But why would they need powerful hollow point bullets to tear apart internal organs that are normally used to tear apart internal organs, and when these are only needed for paper targets, as they say in their purchase order? So that's very interesting. Why are they buying all these hollow point bullets? Are they trying to keep us from getting them? Are they going to buy them and then destroy them? Or are they going to be using them to shoot American citizens in the back, in the face, wherever they might be, in the backs of police cars while they're handcuffed? We'll get to that story in a little bit. But let's move on. In fact, here it is. Arkansas police released suicide reenactment video of handcuffed man who shot himself in the head. And this was a story that came out a couple weeks ago, maybe not even maybe about a week ago, of a guy who was handcuffed in the back of a police car. The cops were questioning somebody, and all of a sudden they noticed this guy is slumped over, dead. He's got a small caliber handgun with him in his seat. How did he shoot himself in the back? Well, they went ahead and released a video, and we can roll some of that video. They showed, different officers getting in, getting double cuffed, and that's supposed to be so they can't pick the lock. They get in the car. You have a quote here from the police chief: "It's very possible, and it's quite easy, to shoot yourself in the back of a police car while handcuffed." And what I think is interesting, and this is coming up here, the guy gets in, and then, okay, he doesn't have the gun in his pocket. He's got it hidden somewhere in the car. So apparently what they're saying is he stashed the weapon in the car at some point and then pulled it out after he was searched twice. Not once, but twice. And, oh yeah, see, look, everybody's able to do it. I mean, the cops can do it, Is it dark? What were the situations that he got stopped at? But no, there he is. Then they show, other people doing it, getting in. Here's a lady getting in. She's a little smaller. They show a 6'2" guy. And I want to go over a couple things that the family said before we get into the meat of this article. The family says, "I think they killed him. My son wasn't suicidal," said Carter's mother, Teresa Carter. She also noted that Chavez was shot in the right temple, yet he is left-handed. Carter also points out that Chavez called his girlfriend while pulled over and assured her that he would contact her again when he got to jail. So that sounds like a guy who's about ready to kill himself. He's making future plans. He's not suicidal. He's happy. And so we go to the story here. This is from Steve Watson. Arkansas police released suicide reenactment video of handcuffed man who shot himself in the head. The story hit headlines earlier this month as officers claim that 21-year-old Chavez Carter killed himself after being searched on suspicion of possession of marijuana. Officers double-locked the handcuffs, making it harder for the lock to be picked, but claimed that Carter was able to pull out a hidden gun raised to his head and pull the trigger while they were temporarily away from the car. Moving on, it says, as part of the investigation into his death and perhaps in response to the claims of foul play, police released a video depicting several officers of different heights and builds being cuffed and still being able to raise a concealed replica gun to their heads. I don't know. I call BS. I mean, that's really all I can say. I find it very hard to believe that they searched the guy and did not find a gun on him. they searched him twice and did not find the gun on him. And the fact that they say this guy would shoot himself in the head, this just stinks to high heaven. So hopefully there will be an official investigation that doesn't involve the police. It's outside sources, and we do get to the bottom of it. But I think the community is doing the right thing by being out there protesting and saying it's on their minds, and especially the parents, because, you know, when somebody dies and they say it's suicide and nobody else that knows the guy says he was suicidal, it's murder. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. Moving on to more police state news. Unblinking surveillance stare. Army's 7-story flying football field-sized blimp. And this is by Miss Smith out of Network World. And we link to it. The Long Endurance Multi-Intelligence Vehicle, or the LEMUV, is almost the size of a 7-story football field. It's meant to fly speeds between 30 and 80 knots without ceasing for 28 straight days while providing an unblinking eye of surveillance. Northrop Grumman has a $500 million contract to build 3 of these 21st century robot airships for the U.S. Army. And very interesting story. And it takes me back to this book that Aaron's had in his office for a long time. It's called Future Government, and it shows a little triangular spaceship with the words United World Federation on it. And it talks about how things are going to be different in the future. This book was published, let's see when this book, 1980. Wow. It was before I was even in grade school. And I was in grade school a long time ago. So let's go to the future weapons section. One weapon of the future that will be used a lot if wars continue is pilotless drone planes. And then you flip the page. Control planes will be able to stay up in the air up to 24 hours without having to land to refuel. They will be most important serving as decoys to draw anti-aircraft fire away from the real planes. They could also be used for suicide missions. And they could also be used to kill American citizens without warrants. And add that in there. That's interesting. The drones, as they are called, can also carry bombs, short-range missiles deep into enemy territory, where it would be too dangerous for a conventional bomber to go. And it goes on from there. But very interesting, they've been talking about this for years, so this is obviously stuff that's been in the works. It is not there for our safety, and these are going to be for the Army, but they're going to be used for, we know eventually they will be used for domestic purposes. That's always the case. They roll things out with the Army first to see if they work, and then after that, it's time to bring them here, and there'll be one over every city looking at you, staring at you, a giant unblinking eye, tracking every move you make, and if you get caught by the cops, well, you're just going to commit suicide in the back of a car, because that's the way it works. Moving on to another piece of propaganda, the Mail Online reports, is the U.S. sending SEAL Team 6 to capture top drug cartel kingpin? American military plotting military mission similar to Bin Laden mission. And this is an interesting piece. And it's a very interesting piece here. So they mentioned, you know, it mainly seems like a big propaganda piece. Talk about the drug war. It mentions SEAL Team 6 in the article twice, and they don't say who's saying that they're going to be sending SEAL Team 6. They're not quoting any government official. They're just saying, you know, will they send it? And they talk about this guy El Chapo, who escaped from prison in 2001, and he's been on the run, and he's head of the biggest drug cartel. It's a $1 billion drug empire, and is accused of firing the first shot in the bloody cartel war that has killed nearly 50,000 people. And very interesting. What I find most interesting is towards the, you know, bottom of the article, they go to this photo. We have it right over here. There it is. There it is. This is the fake Bin Laden room video. There's Hillary. She's got hand over her mouth. There's Obama not looking at the same place that everybody else is looking, which is very interesting. He seems to be looking above where everyone else is looking. So they put that in there along with some propaganda about, you know, a member of SEAL Team 6 shot and killed Osama bin Laden during the elite squad's raid during his compound in Pakistan.
Well, Looks like it's running.
So I don't know why Mail Online would put this in here. I just want to ask them a couple questions. Do they not see our article May 5th, 2011, which states by Paul Joseph Watson, staged White House Situation Room photos, part of bin Laden fable? And the photos were described as having, by many, as having historical significance and forming a captivating record of Obama's greatest success and his defining moment in his presidency. We're also told by the media that the leader of the free world saw the terror chief shot in the eye. U.S. President Barack Obama, along with his high-level team, watched coverage in the White House as commandos gunned down the world's most wanted terrorist, Osama bin Laden, via a video camera. The media that the leader of the free world saw the terror chief shot in the eye. U.S. President Barack Obama, along with his high-level team, watched coverage in the White House as commandos gunned down the world's most wanted terrorist, Osama bin Laden, via a video camera fixed to the helmet of a Navy SEAL. Along with this crumbling official narrative of the operation to kill bin Laden, it has emerged that Obama, Clinton, and the staff saw virtually nothing whatsoever of the mission that allegedly led to the assassination of bin Laden because, according to the CIA Director Leon Panetta, there was a 25-minute blackout of the live feed, which was cut off before the U.S. Navy SEALs even entered the building. So let's go back to this photo real quick. Why was Hillary having her hand over her mouth? Is it possible that she saw the helicopter crash, that top-secret helicopter that was seen in the compound? That's possible. In fact, it says the Situation Room as action unfolded, they had little knowledge of what was happening in the compound, and that was reported by the London Telegraph. So we're learning a little lesson in how the propaganda trail works. You know, a big newspaper puts out an article talking about SEAL Team 6, trying to get people into they're going to help us out with the drug war and go down to Mexico and get El Chapo. Let's go to the Army Times and see what they had to say. Administration won't release bin Laden records. And this is from March 15th, 2012. And going down there, the Pentagon told the AP this month that it could not locate any photographs or video taken during the raid or show bin Laden's body. It also said it could not find any images of bin Laden's body on the Navy aircraft carrier where the Al-Qaeda leader was taken and later buried at sea because that's Muslim tradition. Oh, wait, it's not. The Pentagon said it could not find any death certificate, autopsy report, or results of DNA identification test for bin Laden. Because, you know, when you put out the most daring rescue and the most daring kill mission in the world in the history of all terrorism, you know, you don't take pictures. You don't do any of that. You just, oh, we don't know where it is. We put him out to sea. We don't know where he's at. Well, let's continue. I'm getting a little mad here. I'm sorry. Pre-raid materials discussing how the government planned to dispose of bin Laden's body if he were killed. It said if search files at the Pentagon, search files at the Pentagon, U.S. Special Operations Command in Tampa, Florida, and the Navy Command in San Diego that controls the aircraft carrier Carl Vinson used in the mission. So nobody has files of this. The Defense Department told AP in late February it cannot find any emails about the bin Laden mission or his Geronimo code name were sent or received in the year before the raid by Vice Admiral William McRaven, head of Joint Special Operations Command, who organized and oversaw the mission. It also could not find any emails from senior officers who would have been involved in the mission's planning. It found only 3 such emails written to then Defense Secretary Robert Gates, and it consisted of 12 pages sent to Gates summarizing news reports after the raid. Wow. So the greatest, the most amazing, daring SEAL Team 6 mission ever undertaken, where they went into Pakistan with helicopters, one of which was experimental and crashed. They managed to get in there, shoot bin Laden in the eye after he was cowering in front of one of his wives. Well, wait, no, he didn't. He had an AK-47. No, wait, he didn't have that. He was in his underwear. Yeah, he was in his underwear, and we shot him in the eye, and we carried him out, and we took a bunch of tapes and stuff, and now we're releasing photos that he wanted. He liked Obama. I mean, there's all kind of just crap out there about this raid. And yet, We're still talking about it. Organizations like Mail Online is still putting out that fable that it's still true. People are putting out this image that's been already proven to be fake many times over, and they're trying to keep selling you that narrative. That's all they want to do is keep the lie going. And if you're too stupid to realize that, I'm sorry, I feel for you. Take some Prozac, some Ritalin. Moving on to our final story. Guess what's more dangerous than Al-Qaeda? It's what did you call it? Al-Qaeda? Al-Qaeda, I'm sorry. Now eggs are more dangerous than terrorists out there. That's right, the Los Angeles Times is reporting Al-Qaeda. No yolk, eating the whole egg as dangerous as smoking. I can't believe they printed this. Just as you're ready to tuck into a nice 3-egg omelet, comforted by reassuring news that eggs are not bad for you, here comes a study warning you that those over 40, the number of egg yolks consumed per week accelerates the thickening of the arteries almost severely as it does cigarette smoking. For those whose consumption of whole eggs was in the highest 20%, the narrowing of the carotid artery was on average 2/3 of that of the study's heaviest smokers. Well, we've had Dr. Wallach on this show. He eats 4 eggs every meal. He's in his 70s. He looks like he's 50. And today, oh my God, that scares me every time I see Bin Laden poking out of the egg. But today we have Ben Fuchs on the show talking about the Longevity family of products, which you can get at InfoWarsTeam.com. But Alex also brought up the hogwash on the eggs out there. So we're going to go to that, and let's check out that video now. It's pretty funny.
Why are they attacking eggs and even whey protein? I guess they don't want us healthy. LA Times says eating whole eggs is dangerous as smoking, but then our brain is mainly made out of these good cholesterols. Is it true that we should be on a low-fat diet?
Well, even Ansel Keys was the father of the so-called fat and cholesterol hypothesis, has come out saying that we've known all along that dietary cholesterol has nothing to do with the amount of cholesterol in your body. This whole thing on eggs, I'm going to talk about this on my program tomorrow. This whole thing on eggs is absolutely tragic. If anybody listens to this silliness that's coming out of this study in Canada, it's very, very unfortunate. First of all, if you look at the numbers, and you got to be very careful with how the press reports things, if you look at the numbers right out of the study, as it turns out, people who ate the highest amount of eggs had exactly the same cholesterol, even higher cholesterol levels than people who ate less eggs. So this whole idea of eating egg yolks and causing cancer, this is just a bunch of hooey. The egg yolk is nature's richest source of nutrients next to human mother's milk. And not in the white. The nutrients are not in the white when it comes to an egg. They're in the yolk. And I'm talking vitamin A. I'm talking the B complex. I'm talking vitamin K. I'm talking essential fatty acids, magnesium, calcium, vitamin D, copper, iron, manganese, selenium, zinc. These are all...
Well, they even tell people that have epilepsy eat more eggs because it's been associated with helping the brain. I mean, this is known. So why are they... I mean, if they're going to put taxes on cigarettes, I guess now they're saying eggs are bad. Bloomberg wants to tax salt. He wants to tax soft drinks. Again, making themselves the good guys while ignoring all the real problems. Are they doing that, knowing they're killing us with the nanny state, so that they can selectively take control? And but you know,
that's a point that's well taken. But you know what? We got to take the control back. This idea of nutritional supplementation is one of the best ways that you can take charge of your health and not depend on the doctor. And Alex, what's going to happen if we end up with this Obamacare thing, with managed care, government-mandated managed care, government-mandated HMOs, this is going to be an unmitigated health disaster, and our best protection is to understand how to use nutritional supplementation. And by the way, as far as this study goes on egg yolks, look to see who these scientists who came up with this study, Dr. David Spence, the Canadian authors, David Spence and David Jenkins and Jean Davignon, see who these guys get paid for, and guess who you will find is writing the checks. AstraZeneca and the cholesterol, the drug companies that...
Sure, they want to say it's the cholesterol that's bad, not imbalances in the body. And at the same time, they want to put statins in the water, eat of children. So they're creating this world where the building blocks of our body are listed as evil, so they can tax them and regulate them and control them, not letting us have access to it.
So you heard it from Ben Fuchs. It's a bunch of hooey. All right? There is again that Al-Qaeda's in every egg now. We got to be afraid of eggs. And that's what they're going to go after. They're going to start regulating eggs and getting rid of the family farmers who grow natural eggs, who don't feed their chickens antibiotics, who let them run around and eat the bugs and grass and things on the ground, which is what chickens are supposed to do. That's why they call it chicken scratching, because they scratch the ground, they eat the bugs in your ground. I have friends who have chickens, and they're great. They have eggs every day, and they're fresh eggs, and there's nothing better. Let me tell you, there's nothing better than fresh eggs. You can taste the difference between eggs that you get from a farm and eggs that you get from the grocery store. So be afraid of your eggs if you want to be a lemming and a slave and unhealthy. And with that, we're going to go to our day quote, which is from one of our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson. An enemy generally says and believes what he wishes. So the New World Order out there want to think eggs are bad, so they're going to tell you what they wish. They wish those eggs were bad. And they wish you believed that SEAL Team 6 took out Osama bin Laden, and then a month later, all those members were killed in a helicopter crash after flying with the National Guard, something that they never do. And now they're going to have you believe that they're going to go down to Mexico and take out El Chapo, who's part of the giant drug war that we proliferate by keeping drugs illegal. So we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to have Aaron McBreen sitting down with Eddie Craig, who is a former Nacogdoches Sheriff's Deputy. And, man, this guy has got all the knowledge. I listen to his radio show a lot when I'm driving home. The man knows what he's talking about. He has studied the law up one side and down the other. He has lawyers asking him for advice. So get your pen and paper ready and get ready to take notes, because this is going to be another informative edition of Infowars Nightly News. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're wondering, wow, how can I watch the whole thing without being broken up into little sections? Well, there you go. You can join prisonplanet.tv. You got a 15-day free trial. We can bill you monthly, or you can pay by the year. It's about $5.95 a month. It gets you the nightly news, the special reports, Alex Rants, The Daily Show, plus every movie that Alex Jones has made, which is over, I think we're up to 22, 23 documentaries that he's made. Plus, we have millions of interviews. I can't tell you. I started working here in 2009. I have probably went on at least 50 to 60 interviews with some of the most leading alternative researchers out there. And I mean, it is a treasure trove of information. And you know, we should just take a week and just play those interviews back to back, because they really are interesting.
Oh, looks like it stopped. Well, that's it for now. I'm going to assume technical difficulties. I guess that's all there is for right now. Now is from our LFCO's channel, and that was Infowars Nightly News. We'll stop this. Just showing you what's out there, everybody. Well, found something interesting in the middle of the night. Watched a whole special on mermaids I guess it aired on the Animal Planet. There's a lot of commercial things on here for also the National Geographic. And this was from Mr. Yunu Solitai 2011. That's his channel. Animal Planet Body Found Mermaids. After watching it, my conclusion that it explains a lot of things. His channel is MRUNUSUALITY2011. That's his channel if you want to check out the over 1,348,000 views. And it's about an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 28 minutes long. So, due to copyright things, I'm not going to show it, but you can hear it. And this is just the bottom line at the end of the show. Hopefully, Animal Planet will keep airing this. Repeated quite a few times. It's excellent. It's like watching the X-Files unfold in front of you. Well, let's play it. This is the bottom line of the whole thing.
Brian was the first to leave the agency. Paul and I left NOAA not long after that.
Brian had become consumed, and he'll follow that call to the ends of the earth. And he may very well find them. I know he's still looking. After that day, for me, I'm not sure I can help. And I'm not even so sure we should try. I started thinking of them not as scientific curiosities, but as fellow beings. And the last time we lived alongside a fellow human species was Neanderthals. We displaced them. Some scientists think we actively hunted them, that we devoured their very existence. It's the same thing. Our own myths tell the same story. The history. What we did on land to one of our own, we'll do in the sea. We're not so good at coexistence. Sometimes other responsibilities supersede science. My only goal is that the Navy stop their sonar testing. That court inquiries open into their activities that then lead to court orders to stop it. That will safeguard the whales. And it'll safeguard them too. Mermaids have persisted only because they can hide. And I hope they stay that way. I hope they stay hidden. I don't want to hunt them anymore because they don't want to be found.
I was only asked to analyze the pelvic and section of the find. I never saw the rest of it. All I can tell you is that it was not the result of some strange bone disease or any deformity. What this creature was, I don't know. All I can tell you is that I know where it came from. There's absolutely no question in my mind about where it came from. The bones that we scanned were absolutely of hominid origin. This was a creature with which we shared a common ancestry. We're both descended from the same line.
Look, what I saw on the dock that day, I've never seen anything like that before in my life. I have spent my whole life by the sea. I've spent my life in study of the sea.
And I've never seen a creature like it before. This was a creature that was new to science. I play these recordings again and again in my mind. The first one from Washington State, the second one from South Africa. Trying to figure it out, and I can't. I don't know what they are. I don't know what they are saying. You know, I've never heard anything like it. The only creature with this level of linguistic complexity that I've heard is human beings. It's us.
Like I said before, making a reconstruction is like building a jigsaw. The pieces have to fit if the picture is going to make sense, biological sense. Even if one piece doesn't fit, the reconstruction, it doesn't work. In my opinion, the molds that were sent to me were taken from a genuine find. These were genuine molds. This was a real animal. Call it what you like.
Well, forget what we're claiming. Forget the recordings that remain. Forget the sworn affidavits from other scientists. And forget our own cultural references of mermaids. There is another culture that remembers them. Nature doesn't lie, so look to nature. There are a few places left on Earth where wild dolphins will hunt with fishermen. They'll actually help humans catch fish. This happens in Brazil, in coastal West Africa, in Southeast Asia. Fishermen go down to the edge of the water and into the shallows. They're calling them. They call in the dolphins, wild dolphins, from the sea. And the dolphins answer the call by driving in schools of fish toward shore. Then the fishermen encircle the fish pool and all the dolphins with their nets. The dolphins don't panic. They stay entirely calm. They know that the fishermen will let them out as they pull the nets tight. They let the dolphins out before they pull the fish ashore. And then the dolphins wait in the shallows, bobbing with anticipation in the water as the fishermen give them their share. They toss fish to the dolphins to eat. They divide the catch, essentially. Dolphins and people split the spoils. They share the fish they caught together. Cooperation between two animals of two different environments. There's nothing else like this on Earth. And nobody knows how it began, how this partnership started. It's one of the great mysteries of the oceans, how this partnership between people and dolphins evolved. How could people teach dolphins to do this? Well, we didn't. We didn't teach dolphins to do this, they taught us. And I think that they learned it from someone else. We are not the only culture with a memory of mermaids.
That was the bottom line. That's the best I can do without having any troll activity on copyrights. That was okay to do. So, in this film, they were talking about how they were finding fish. I mentioned that before. They found fish with spears in them. They actually found a mermaid inside of a great white that was kind of mangled, but they put it together. And then, of course, the government, they called it Big Brother, came in and raided the scientists that were working on this. These are people that used to work for NOAA. And with the sonic testing of the Navy, when all these animals ended up washing ashore, we'd seen them. We'd seen a lot of animals coming up up on the shore and driven into the shore, the whales, the dolphins, the dead fish. Wow. Turns out the Navy is using some kind of sound sonic testing device. Of course, it's some kind of military sound weapon that almost sounds like the sounds that we have all heard from around the world. That low-pitched blast that sounds like a horn. Oh yes, that's Diana's theory. That when we were hearing it, it was bouncing off from the ocean coming up, because sound will travel, and then it must have traveled upward and into the atmosphere, and that's what we were hearing. That's part of the things, like they called it the trumpets of the apocalypse. Yeah, they're destroying things in the ocean with their sound weapons, sonic weapons that I guess are made for subs or whatever they're doing. It's destroying all the organs and within the whales, the dolphins. They're having. You have to watch this whole thing, but like the American Indians, like other things going on. I'm going to assume that there's a tribe of, I guess you can call them mermaids. It's the missing link. The reason why we have, this is Diana's theory. A Diana theory. And I'll make sure I type it out so that then it's copywritten. But the missing link are the mermaids. And they explain that's why we don't have a bunch of hair and we can hold our breaths underwater, we can control our breathing. And half of the early man split off. Some stayed on land and some went into the oceans and developed into these creatures that are mermaids that have been seen for thousands of years, and pictures of them are on cave drawings and all types of things. So you really might want to check this out. But Diana's theory is the missing link is not on land. It is in the ocean, which explains why there is that missing link that they keep trying to find in the wrong place. Also, obviously, their intelligence are, that makes the most sense on why dolphins and humans semi-respect each other, the ones that aren't hunting them and things like that. But that's why they're friendly to us, because of what else is in the ocean. There's actually, you could just say it's another civilization. Jules Verne, however you want to put it. There's another civilization in the ocean, and we're going to probably try to do the same thing. And maybe because we don't want to share the food in the ocean, we don't want to share, all the industries don't want to share with them. That's why I guess they have been hidden and slowly trying to be conquered. There's probably some kind of war going on in the ocean. That's what we do, our civilization here on the on the land, right? The cliff dwellers, as a nautical term, the cliff dwellers have to control everything, and if they're eating up the profit in the ocean, hey, we're going to have to conquer them too. I'm going to tell you, this planet is mainly ocean. So there's going to be a lot more of them by the tens of millions, billions and billions than there are of us. Better keep that in mind. Alrighty then, I thought you might enjoy listening to that. And I'll get on with my regular report after I think I attach. I'm going to have to attach all this together. This is going to be one big report for you. And I will see you later.